Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. I never imagined a single mistake could change everything, the kind of mistake that rewrites your life and leaves you staring at what used to be, wondering how you got here. My name is Laura, I'm 32, and I thought I understood my marriage. We had been together for 10 years, married for 7, and for the most part life was steady. Not perfect, never perfect, but stable in a way that felt like safety. I used to think that love, patience, and compromise could fix anything, that no matter what arguments we had, no matter how many mistakes I made, he would always be there. Turns out I was wrong. It started with something small, a misunderstanding disguised as a joke or maybe an offhand remark I thought he would laugh at. We were having dinner one evening, the kids tucked into bed, the house quiet in that familiar calm that made our home feel like ours. I had just finished telling a story about a coworker's ridiculous behavior, trying to lighten the mood, when he made a comment about how I sometimes pushed boundaries and didn't realize the effect of my words. I laughed it off, not realizing that the smile on my face was nothing more than a mask. I teased him back, gently or so I thought, poking fun at how I sometimes had to remind him to lock the doors or how he left his socks scattered across the bedroom floor. He chuckled, but there was a slight tension in his eyes, a flicker of discomfort I chose to ignore. The next morning, I made a comment about how we sometimes needed space, half joking, suggesting he take a break for a day to relax while I handled the household. He paused, looked at me with a calm I mistook for playfulness, and I, with the careless certainty that had gotten me through arguments before, said, "Well, maybe you should just go then." I didn't intend it to mean anything serious, it was a careless word, a moment of exasperation wrapped in humor. But I should have known better. I should have understood that there was a line I had crossed without even realizing it. Within the hour, the house was quieter than usual. He was packing a bag, not saying much, just moving with deliberate calm. I laughed nervously, thinking he was joking along, testing me, seeing how I would react. I even called after him, "Don't be dramatic, it's just a day, come back soon." But his expression didn't falter. He didn't laugh. He didn't turn back. He simply closed the door behind him, leaving me standing in the kitchen, the echo of the click still ringing in my ears. That night, I stared at the empty living room, the kids asleep upstairs, and the weight of my words began to settle, like a fog creeping slowly over everything familiar. The days that followed were strange. He didn't come back, not immediately, not the way I had assumed he would. Calls went unanswered, texts ignored. At first, I convinced myself that he was just taking time, that he would come back and we would laugh about this, chalk it up to another one of our silly arguments. But then the quiet became persistent, heavy, and I began to notice how the routine we had built so carefully was unraveling around me. The way the children asked after him, their eyes searching mine for reassurance I couldn't give, pierced through the casual mask I tried to maintain. "Where's Daddy?" my daughter whispered one morning, clutching her blanket, and I felt my heart twist because I didn't have a truthful answer that wouldn't make everything worse. When he finally returned, it wasn't the way he used to come home, with warmth and shared stories, with laughter that filled the spaces between walls. No, this return was different. He came only to see the children, only to ensure they were okay, only to maintain the part of his life that mattered most. I followed him with hopeful eyes, trying to engage him in conversation, attempting to bridge the gap that my careless words had created, but he kept it minimal, polite, and distanced. There were moments of brief eye contact, a hint of the warmth I remembered, but it was always quickly gone, replaced by a calm detachment that cut deeper than anger ever could. I tried to speak to him one afternoon, when the children were playing quietly in the backyard. "Can we talk?" I asked, my voice almost trembling, desperate to understand why a single day had become a chasm between us. He looked at me, his eyes gentle but firm, and said, "We're fine for the children. That's all we need to be." My stomach sank. That was the line. The point of no return. I realized then that it wasn't just about what I said or did in the moment, it was about every careless word, every time I had belittled him or taken his patience for granted, every time I assumed he would always be there regardless of my actions. The children noticed the difference before I did, their innocent observations cutting straight to the heart. "Mommy, why doesn't Daddy stay for dinner anymore?" my son asked one evening. His voice was confused, tinged with worry that no child should feel. I had no answer. I could only watch as he picked at his food, small gestures betraying the anxiety that grew quietly in their hearts. I thought I was handling it, keeping a brave front, maintaining control of our home, but the truth was that the absence of his presence was reshaping everything quietly, irreversibly. It hit me hardest during bedtime, when their tiny hands clutched mine, seeking comfort from a world that had shifted while I had been careless. "He'll come back, right?" my daughter asked, her voice soft, hopeful, and I had to swallow back a sob because the truth I faced was hard and bitter. He had come back, yes, but only partially, only as the father who loved them, not the husband who loved me. The distinction, subtle at first, was now painfully clear. I had created a distance that no apology could immediately close, a boundary defined by the respect he had finally demanded, and I was left outside it. Days turned into weeks, and I began to see the patterns, the times I had overstepped, the jokes that weren't funny, the moments I had taken for granted, all of them threading together to form a tapestry of regret. Every interaction with him was measured, careful, polite, but never warm. He maintained boundaries, respecting the children's emotional security while keeping his own intact. And I, left in the quiet of my own making, began to realize the profound lesson he was imparting without words. Respect is not automatic. It must be earned, preserved, and never assumed.